Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have great news to share about Donald Trump's plummeting poll numbers. It is now officially the lowest of his second term. So Gallup released their latest results last Friday, and they showed Donald Trump with a 36% approval rating, 60% disapproval. Take a look. So Donald Trump's approval rating is now close to where it was in 2021 after January 6th, after he tried to steal the 2020 election, after he fomented a coup and an insurrection at our nation's capital. That's how bad people think it is right now. And here's the thing, here's where this erosion is coming from. So take a look at this chart. So support among registered Republicans has dropped for him from 91% last month to 84%. And then his approval, this is really the key, with independents fell from 33, which was still not great, 33%, but it fell to only 25%. And check out how low his ratings are on the issues. Look at that, you guys. He is underwater on every single issue, including immigration, 37% approval. That's a drop, by the way, of 9% since he took office. And then he's at 36% on the economy. And that's abysmal. Those were his two best issues. And the economy number, that dropped 6% since his second term started. So it was at 42%. So this is hashtag sad in all caps. And check this out. So CNN's Harry Enton, he's their data analyst. He's their data analyst. That would be something different, their data analyst. Anyway, he put this all into perspective, like in a historical regard, and then as far as presidential approval ratings goes, and then also what it means for Republicans and their chances in the midterm. So check this out.
One who's worse for me, either among Republicans or Democrats at this point in second term, is Richard Nixon. And of course, Richard Nixon had to wave adios amigos goodbye less than a year after this poll was taken. He was at minus 36 points. Trump at minus 24 points. That beats, or is worse, I should say, beats in the wrong direction. George W. Bush, minus 19 points. His Republican Party, of course, suffered major losses in the 2006 midterm elections. This is the second worst for a president of either party at this point in their second term, dating all the way back since the 1940s. You go all the way back since Harry S. Truman. 0 out of 8 times did the president's net approval rating rise by over 5 points. If he does not see a rise of more than 5 points, see you later, that Republican majority. It has never happened.
So yeah, has never happened where they've come back to win. And so it's no mystery why this is happening. We all know, we've seen all the polls, right? We've seen it showing that his 2024 coalition is completely disintegrating. And as I've mentioned before, one voting bloc that's eroding the most is Latino voters. So Pew Research released a new poll. This was also last week, and it shows 70% of Latino voters now disapprove of Donald Trump's job performance. Look at that, 70%. And then as you can see in this graphic, 65% said that they disapprove of his handling of immigration. And 61% of the Latinos who were surveyed said that Donald Trump's economic conditions, or his economic policies, I should say, are making things worse. So take a look. I think, I have this graphic. So, I mean, this is why. This is why across the board, it's economics, economics, economics. And Trump's poor marks includes the sentiment of some of his own voters. So Latinos who, voted for him last year are not digging it. Even Latinos who did not bother to vote last year are also not happy. So look at this chart. So 31% of the Trump Latino voters, Latinos who voted for him just last year, say he is making their lives worse. And then 34% say that Trump's policies have been harmful to Latinos in general in the United States. I mean, this is abysmal. And Fox News also recently released a new poll, and it showed that Trump's favorability is at 40% in a Fox poll, 59% unfavorable. So take a look. I mean, it's sad. You know, they want to talk about how unpopular the Democratic Party is. Trump is basically just neck and neck with the Democratic Party. So it's like, okay. If you say so. And then Trump's job performance also scored similar numbers, similar pathetic numbers. Take a look here. 41% approve of his job performance, 58% disapprove. And then across demographic groups, he is just blowing it. Americans know the economy completely sucks. Take a look. So as you guys can see here, 76% say that the economy is either not so good or it's poor. And then 60% say that their personal finances are not so good or poor. And then the majority of registered voters say that Trump is the one that they blame. So, you know, all this talk about, oh, this is Biden's economy still, Trump's economy doesn't kick in till next year. People aren't buying that. They know 62% blame Donald Trump. In fact, in this same poll, a plurality, 46%, said that Trump's policies have made the economy overall worse. And for the first time in a very long time, voters are saying they trust the Democrats more when it comes to increasing affordability and wages and creating jobs. This is something we have not seen in a long time. So, you know, clearly Donald Trump still has the upper hand when it comes to issues like the border or issues like crime. But when it comes to financial issues, people are now saying, yeah, no, I trust the Democrats more. So it's no wonder that recent polling is now showing that Democrats are widening their lead over the Republicans in regard to next year's election when it comes to a generic ballot. And what that means is they just ask like, hey, if it's a Democrat or a Republican, not a specific candidate, but a Democrat versus a Republican, who are you going to vote for? More people are choosing the Democrats. So the latest Marquette Law School poll, it shows this again. It spells disaster for Trump and the Republicans in the midterms. So I know this might be kind of hard to read because of the colors that they used, but anyway, for anyone who can't make it out, 49% of respondents said that they will vote for a Democratic candidate next year. Only 44% said that they'll vote for the Republican. And then if you look toward the bottom, they break it down by party, and it shows 38% of independents said that they plan to vote for a Democrat. Only 17% said they're going to vote for a Republican. I'm assuming the rest are just not going to vote at all, which is fine by me. But anyway, even 4% of Republicans told Marquette, yeah, I'm voting for a Democrat next year. And then if you look all the way over to the right, you can see there is a huge enthusiasm gap. So 68% of the registered Republicans said that they are definitely going to vote next year, whereas 75% of Democrats said the same, and then 37% of independents. So as I keep saying, Trump keeps losing all of these key voting blocks that help put him back in the White House, which is independents, Latino voters, young people, and then take a look at an aggregate of polls that were shared by Harry Enton.
All November polls. The best one of the group puts him at 14 points underwater. That's the Marquette University Law School poll, tied for the worst he's ever had in that poll. Fox, 17 points underwater. Marist, 17 points underwater. The Reuters Ipsos poll, 22 points underwater. And then taking the cake, the AP North poll, 26 points underwater. What is driving these horrific numbers for Donald Trump? Well, Why don't we take a look at independents? Trump's net approval rating with independents. Back in January, he was close to even. He was at -4 points. Not great, but not terrible. Look at this number. 43 points underwater with independents in the most recent average of these polls. If this holds for next year's midterm election, wave adios amigos, goodbye, see you later to that House Republican majority and that Senate Republican majority very much in danger as well.
So, yeah, losing independents left and right. This is why Republican lawmakers are jumping off the Trump train, because they know they're headed for a cliff. And then check this out. So this is kind of depressing. It shows how little some Americans are paying to what's going on in our government. So there's a group called Strength in Numbers. It's run by a guy, last name Elliott, I think, that G. Morris Elliott, if I'm not mistaken. I've shared his stuff with you before. Anyway, he polled Americans and he found that when respondents are informed beforehand about details, the Republicans, they lose support. So, for example, when they told people, hey, Republicans currently control Congress, who do you want to win next year in the midterms? People were more likely to say, I'll vote for the Democrats. So, which tells you they didn't already know that. So, and it's not by much, I admit. It's, it moved the needle only 1 point. But still, 1% across the entire nation is huge. And again, this means people aren't even aware of who is in control of our government right now. They may know Trump is in charge, but it doesn't appear that a lot of people know, or not a lot, but some people don't even know that Republicans are currently in charge. And then they showed a similar shift away from supporting ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. When they first asked respondents, hey, how do you feel about, Trump's ICE agents using unnecessary force against American citizens, against U.S. citizens? So in that context, people moved away from them. And this one was even bigger. So this moved the needle more. You can see there when they were asked the question about authorized immigrants, they were 49% in disapproval of ICE. But then when you said, hey, what about if you add in this question about, harassing or manhandling American citizens, then their opposition goes up to 56%. So, made a difference between a plurality and a majority. I also have news about a statewide poll. This was conducted in a swing state that flipped for Donald Trump last year. So this was in Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania went for Biden in 2020 and then Trump in 2024. Well, look at where his approval rating is right now. This is abysmal. That negative 14% in the latest Civics Pennsylvania poll. So this was specifically Pennsylvania residents, a state that just flipped and helped put him back in the White House, and he is 14 points underwater. Only 39% of respondents in this poll approve of the job that he's doing, and 56% disapprove. And then check this out. This is really telling. So these are the crosstabs for that poll. Again, this is just Pennsylvania. He is underwater. All the orange color that you see on the right, those are negative numbers. So that means he is underwater with almost every single demographic group in the state. So it's no wonder that they're jumping ship, right? Trump may live in this highly curated good news bubble, but the Republican Party does not. The Republican Congress members don't. They know what's coming, and it's about to look like that school dance scene from the movie Carrie. It's just going to be a bloodbath. So anyway, guys, there you go. I'll have more for you, I'm sure. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.